It's morning again. I think I'm doing alright so far today. I didn't feel nauseous when I woke up for once, so that's good. To celebrate, I figured I'd spend a couple hours trying to catch myself some breakfast. This morning it'll either be fresh fish or McDonald's eggs, and I'd prefer fish for a change if I can manage to land something. Don't get me wrong, I like McDonald's as much as the next guy, but I found a lot of their breakfast items don't really agree with my tummy, and I feel uncomfortable ordering a hamburger or french fries so early in the day. So I usually order the English McMuffins without the muffin, meat, or cheese. If I get 3 or 4 of those egg pucks, we're not to a pretty substantial meal. I also really love their coffee and orange drink. I get a small cup of each and mix them together in my thermos. The cool orange drink and the hot coffee even out to the perfect drinking temperature. And with my insulated container, I can enjoy that for hours. I know it sounds weird, and it is, but I really like it, and it's nice to experience the highlight of my day so early. I like to hope that such a delight will set the tone for the rest of my day, but unfortunately that is never the case. It's nice to get out here and fish for a few hours, though. I wish I could do it every day, but I can't. Papa's got bills to pay, you know? Papa's got a lot of bills piling up. Today, I'm really hoping to get a trout, specifically a brown. I've never cared much for rainbows myself, a bit too flashy for my taste. I'd hate for somebody to see me hauling in such a colorful fish and think that I'm being extravagant or self-indulgent. That's why I stick to browns. They're the working man's trout, if you ask me. Simple and to the point. Sure, they're a great fish, all fish are in their own way, but brown trout have always reminded me of myself. You won't find them winning any beauty contests or getting recognition at work or from their family or friends, but they try their very best and they do what they can to survive, and they succeed. If they didn't, then I wouldn't be out here catching one for my breakfast. I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but what can I say? I'm excited at the prospect of brown trout sushi this morning. I'm hungry. I'm ready to kill something. Now, I'm not embarrassed to admit that my snake roll cast needs some work. I've been fly fishing for years now, but some techniques seem forever out of my reach. I feel like most things are just out of my reach. No matter how hard I try, how carefully I plan, I'm always coming up short. I can't remember the last time I really accomplished something. When I was in high school, I had a big crush on a cheerleader. Her name was Nicole. I heard that she's dead now, but back then, before she was dead, she was beautiful and popular and smart and always so kind to me. She was something really special. She and I had 2 classes together during our sophomore year, and we got to know each other a little bit. I used to think that she was flirting with me when we'd talk about homework or what we had planned for the coming weekends, but when I think about it now, she was probably being nice. She might have been the last person to be truly nice to me. I wanted to ask her out so badly back then. When I finally worked up the courage and settled on an idea for the date and how I would ask her, it was too late. She'd gotten herself a boyfriend the very day before I planned to ask her if she'd like to go to the Oat Fair with me. And to make things worse, the guy she was going out with was older and handsomer than me, and there's not a doubt in my mind that his penis was definitely longer and likely thicker than mine. She too proved to be out of my reach. In college, the same thing happened with another young woman named Nicole. I fell in love with her. She ended up dating and then marrying and then raising a family with another thick-membered muscle man. What strange luck I have. What a horrible nightmare I live in. I should really start tying my own flies again. I spend a fortune on these little bugs. It's not abnormal for me to lose 8, 10 of them every day. I used to tie flies all the time with my Uncle Troy. He's the one that got me into fly fishing. He had a cabin up on the McCloud River, and we'd go out there in the summer and spend the whole day fishing. At night, we used our own hair to tie flies, and we'd cook a feast of whatever we caught that day, be it fish or bird, mud bug, whatever. Those were really good times. I should give old Troy a call. Wonder if he's been released from the hospital yet. I'll call him tomorrow and see how he's doing. If I'm being totally honest, I don't think I'm much of a fisherman. It's been quite a while since I've landed anything worth talking about. I've saved my steelhead report cards for the past few years, and looking through those is a bleak reminder of what kind of angler I am, what kind of man I am. Lately, I haven't even really enjoyed the act of fishing. I guess I just like being out here in the water without having to answer to anybody. It's the only escape I have from the rest of my life, and I need an escape. It terrifies me to think about what I might do if I didn't have some way to let off steam. I feel angry all the time. The other day I was driving to the river after work, and there was a dog in the road, and I didn't swerve to miss it. I saw it in plenty of time. It didn't dart out or anything. I just kept driving straight, felt the bump, and didn't slow down. I felt nothing. Work hasn't been going too well. Things started going sour after the company Christmas party. I had had a glass of wine or two, and I can't really remember everything super clearly, but I said some things and showed a few people some parts of myself and made them uncomfortable and afraid. I don't know. I know I should feel remorse, but I don't. I just don't care. I felt distracted almost all the time lately, and my boss has certainly noticed. He says I'm surly and unreliable. He sent me home the other day and told me to take a day or two to straighten myself out, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. My therapist says that I need to try to understand how my actions can affect other people, but what does he know? He's just some guy in an office. I'm the one out here in the river, in the cold, hunting for fish. I'm the one the world forgot. I've been having this reoccurring dream whenever I manage to get more than a few minutes of sleep at a time. A dream that I'm here in the river. I'm in this river and it's really cold and there's nobody else around. I'm here fishing and I can't stop shivering. The air is so cold that my chest burns with each breath. I feel like I might die and I'm afraid, but then I feel a bite on my line. I set the hook and I reel. I reel and I reel for what feels like an hour. I'm still shivering, but I'm sweating and exhausted by the time I land the fish. It's a good-sized salmon. I take it to the bank of the river and I remove the hook from its mouth and then I just set it on the rocks. I stand above it, watching it labor for air. I watch it suffocate and then I step on it and kick it back into the river. That's when I wake up. It's hard. Fishing's hard. It's hard to keep going. I put my waders on one leg at a time like any other man, but I guess things are just different for me. The only thing I've been able to catch recently is my wife with my friend Tom. I don't know if I should call him my friend anymore after what he's done. I thought Melissa and I were just on a break, nothing official or anything, just a little time apart. Her and the child in the house and me out here. But when I went to pick up my daughter, we've agreed that I can still see her for a few hours each week while we're not living together. I like taking her out to dinner or to the park. It's good to see her. It's nice to be with somebody who's able to smile despite my presence. Anyway, when I went to pick her up the other weekend, Tom was there and he had his arm around my wife. He also had a shiny new gold band on the ring finger of his left hand. I acted like I didn't see it, but they both knew I did. I thought you couldn't get a divorce and remarry without the other person knowing, but I guess I don't know laws that well. I just know from what I used to see on TV. While I was there, Tom noticed that I was still wearing my waders and asked me if I'd caught any frogs at the drainage runoff. You can't even catch a frog with a spey rod, I said. I really thought I had bested him with that witty comeback, but then he showed me a picture on his phone of the shark he'd caught the prior week from his really nice boat. It was at least 9 feet long. He said he had a freezer full of bagged up shark meat. He offered me some. I would have loved to take it. I was starving. But my pride got the better of me and I declined. I wish I had some of that huge fish's meat right now. Tom also has a helicopter's license and a bunch of cool guns and a degree from an accredited university and my wife and child living with him. I miss having a family. I hate that he has mine now. I hate the constant silence. I hate the looks that people give me. I hate not being able to sleep in the bed that I helped pay for. Thinking of him making love to and potentially inseminating my wife and then tucking my daughter into bed without washing his hands makes me absolutely sick. Tom's got a good job with the government that has benefits and doesn't stain his skin and clothes with the smell of chicken blood. I work part-time at the Granger slaughterhouse. He spends his time investing his money in real estate and speeding around town in his Ford truck and living with my family. I spend my time out here in this filthy stream, telling myself that I'll really try to catch something, but I always end up just standing in here for hours, casting into the same small patch of water, my tears falling into the ripples passing me by. Everything seems to be passing me by nowadays. I haven't been eating much lately and my hair's been falling out in clumps. I'm finding it more difficult to form coherent thoughts, and I think it was my birthday yesterday. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to be focusing on anchor placement or running line management, but I've got other things on my mind. Namely, finding a place to stay tonight. I've got the whole day to figure it out. Maybe something will come through. Maybe I'll be able to get some rest. I've just got this beat-up car that I've been renting. It's pretty uncomfortable. I was so focused on fuel economy when I was at the rental place that I didn't even stop to consider how I might sleep or prepare my meals in there. You live and you learn, I guess. I don't know if I'd call this living, but I'm certainly learning. Hard lessons. Despite it being so cramped in the front seat, it is kind of nice to get to sleep so close to the river. At least nobody notices me if I park a ways off. It gets cold though. Some nights I'll roll the windows down and fall asleep listening to the water, but then I have to deal with the mosquitoes and the other stinging bugs. Most days after work I like to drive by Tom's house and see if I can catch a glimpse of Melissa and the child. Tom caught me while I was parked across the street from his place the other evening, so I don't stop there anymore. I just drive by and look in the windows and hope that the silhouettes I see are my wife and daughter and not just one of the stuffed elk bodies that Tom took down with his bow. His house is full of animals that he's conquered. It's also full of the sound of my wife and child's laughter. I can hardly recall what that sounds like. It's been so long. I really hope I catch something good soon. Maybe I'll call Uncle Troy today rather than waiting until tomorrow. He used to let me sleep on his couch sometimes, but at this stage in his treatment, he's always vomiting. I guess I won't call him. He needs any rest he can get. God, I'm hungry. It would really be nice to eat something today. It'd be nice to be able to talk to Melissa without Tom in the room. It'd be nice to have a warm bath. It'd be really nice to go back in time and keep my mother and father from meeting so I would never have to be born, but all of those are just fanciful dreams. I can't let myself get swept away with them, otherwise I'm liable to let myself get swept away by this river and drift out to sea. It might not be so bad, a burial at sea with no funeral service. It happens to people all the time. I could be one of those people.